तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
इसे क्यों हो रहा है? वेदर के कारण। ओम तव कथामृतम तप्त जीवनम कविभिरीडितम कल्मषापहम् श्रवण मंगलम श्रीमदाततम भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। ओम शांति शांति शांति। We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are in the conversations of 4th January, Monday, 1886. And a little reference of the morning we shall have, and that is it was the 14th day of the dark fortnight of the month at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, not morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room. He told him that Ram Chatterjee had come from the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar to inquire about his health. He asked him whether it was very cold at the temple garden. Narendra arrived. Now and then the master looked at him and smiled. It appeared to him that that day the master's love for his beloved disciple was boundless. He indicated to him by a sign that Narendra had wept. Then he remained quiet. Again he indicated that Narendra had cried all the way from home. So this was the afternoon reference. Now I'll put it, change it because it flickers. The bad weather time so that is the reference in the afternoon. Now we pick up, it was evening. It was evening. Narendra was sitting in a room downstairs. He was smoking and describing to him the yearning of his soul. No one else was with them, Narendra. I was meditating here last Saturday when suddenly I felt a peculiar sensation in my heart. It was the awakening of the Kundalini. Narendra, probably it was. I clearly perceived the Ida and the Pingala nerves. I asked Hazra to feel my chest. Yesterday, I saw him, meaning the master, upstairs and told him about it. I said to him, all the others have had their realization. Please give me some. All have succeeded. Shall I alone remain unsatisfied? M. What did he say to you, Narendra? He said, why don't you settle your family affairs first and then come to me? Yes, you will get everything. What do you want? I replied, it is my desire to remain absorbed in samadhi continually for 3 or 4 days. Only once in a while, coming down to the sense plane to eat a little food. Now, we have to understand the defect or shortcoming of this desire. Thakur had been in his mind continuously in Nirikalpa Samadhi without fixing 3 or 4 days. It was in his mind to remain always in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, not caring for food or body. And actually he remained for 6 months. And Divine Mother brought a sadhu and he bathed him and fed him and he did not care. So one point. Secondly, Thakur will show him. Thakur came down for the sake of the world. So after attaining the transcendent Brahman, it is necessary to realize the immanent Brahman. Nirguna Saguna is the nature of Brahman. Many people are asking me, Vedanta says this, Vedanta says that. That is not Vedanta. That is Upanishads or Vedanta. And in Upanishads, both transcendent and immanent are simultaneously described. Sometimes we'll find one mantra describing transcendent and then 5, 6, 7 mantras describing immanent. Now, why people think like that? And the thing is that the great teacher Shankaracharya, for the need of the age or for whatever may be the reason, he has emphasized Nirgun. He has not denied Sagun. I found some places, for example, take Shankar's commentary on the 8th mantra of the Isha Upanishad. In the introduction, Shankar says, up till now, you have heard the Tatastha Lakshanas, now listen to the Swarupa Lakshanas. So Tatastha means from a distance. Swarupa means from inside. After telling that, there are descriptions. Kavir Manishi, Paribhu, Swayambhu are 2 words there. If he wanted to put down this Saguna, it was very easy in those 2 words. Pari means all-sided. All-sided means immanent. So Paribhu first and then Swayambhu. The word is normally applied for Nirgun transcendent. But Shankar has not described it like that there. He says Paribhu. Pari means upari, beyond everything, transcendent. And then he describes as if it is Thakur's sentence. Yasya upari bhavati, yascha upari bhavati, sa swayameva bhavati, iti swayambhu. So the interpretation or meaning of swayambhu is that which is above and from which it is above, all is he himself. That is immanent. What more you want? So when I used to discuss this in my training center days, I'm telling all the sides. Our principal Maharaj, who had learned everything in the so-called orthodox way, used to say 1 or 2 places he might have said that, but otherwise Nirgun is emphasized. I made several other genuine Vedantis in the Ramakrishna Mission, and they also used to say, no, ultimate is Nirgun. But that is, as I have shown you, misreading of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya never denies Saguna, though at many places he wants to put down that. But because he wants to emphasize the Nirguna aspect, maybe the need of the age or whatever it may be, but the Vedantam is Upanishads. And I just now told you, Upanishads, if there is one month, in the same mantra where Nirguna and Sagun together, take Mundak Upanishad for example. Mundak Upanishad yattad adresham agrayam tad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhira. That which is beyond, 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 that very thing the wise people see as the source of this world. So, Nirguna and Sagun in the same mantra. And then 5-6 shlokas, mantras of purely Sagun. So that is Upanishads. In the Gita, we have a still clearer expression in the 13th chapter. Sarva bhuta prithak bhavam ekatvam anupashyati tata evacha vistaram brahma sampadate tada. The many has merged into one when he sees that. And from that very one, the many has spread out. When he sees that, then only he has realized Brahman. So very clear. Now, as I said, for whatever may be his reason, Shankar has emphasized Nirgun, there is no doubt about it. Now what happens if a Mahapurush emphasizes something, his disciples take that only as real. And that is why the so-called Orthodox school has told like that. One of the Vedantis of the, I will say, third generation, that means Thakur and his disciples, and then the disciples of his disciple. Jagadana, the great, he has told clearly that the only difference between Shankaracharya and Sri Ramakrishna or Vivekananda is that difference of emphasis, nothing more. I may add a little here that the Marathi Mahapurush Gyaneshwar Maharaj has out and out emphasized immanent. Not that he ignores the transcendent, he tells in transcendent very clearly, but emphasizes on immanent. Now, Sri Ramakrishna has said, I emphasize both equally. Sometimes I am in Nitya, sometimes I am in this sport. So that is the whole thing, emphasis. If once you understand that, you will find no quarrel between the statement of any Mahapurusha, because Sri Ramakrishna himself has said, all jackals cry in the same tune. He means all the people who have realized Brahman will tell in the same way. So we have to find, I'll put something more, that interpretation is correct where we find harmony. If we find disharmony between two interpretations, if we find, that means we have not understood either. In the Vedanta Sutras, there is a sutra, fourth sutra, Tattu Samandvayat. Meaning is that the real meaning of the scriptures is obtained only through harmony. So that we have to understand. If we do not find harmony between Shankar's teaching and Thakur Sir Swamiji's teaching, then we have not understood either. So that is the point. So here we find that Narendra's description was faulty because he wanted only the transcendent. But why should he come back for food? So there are two distinct limitations in his asking. And so, Sri Ramakrishna has corrected. Many people taking this say Sri Ramakrishna has told only about immanence. Immanence has defeated, transcended. That is one of our Swamis has written in a poem, a song in Marathi. So that is also not correct. The Mahapurushas do not defeat each other. Emphasize only is different. So now we come back to what Swamiji asked and what Thakur replied. Now we'll understand it more correctly. Otherwise people say, Swamiji had a wrong idea and Thakur corrected him. No. Swamiji had limitation and Thakur has corrected him, that is correct. But this correction is not immanence over transcendence. Several places we have read in the gospel up till now that ultimately world is unreal. To show that world is unreal, we neither require Shankaracharya nor Sri Ramakrishna. The world is unreal. But the same world which is unreal is nothing but manifestation of Brahman. That also we have to see. Shankar, in his commentary on the second mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad, has very clearly stated this. That which was told as Om, that means the world is totally unreal, including all its details, and only Brahman is the reality, unless we have shown that that very Brahman is all this world, the identity is incomplete. That is what Shankar says in the commentary to the second mantra. Brahma eva idam sarvam. That which was, all this was told as Om, now all this is being told as Brahma. Then only the identity is complete. So, seeing all this, please forget any difference, only harmony. And harmony, as Thakur said, neti neti iti iti. There is no superior description. And that is what Swami Vivekananda said, Ramakrishna Mission stands on Vedanta as lived and explained by Sri Ramakrishna. Because that is the truest explanation according to the spirit of Upanishads. So now we come back that I said to him, okay. What did he say to you? He said, why don't you settle your family affairs first? So if that is in the mind, you cannot attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So clear, every statement is clear. And then come to me, you will get everything. What do you want? Thakur knew some limitation. That is why he is asking. I replied, it is my desire to remain absorbed in Samadhi continuously for 3 or 4 days. Only once in a while coming down to the sense plane to eat a little food. Thereupon he said to me, you are a very small-minded person. No, this is the exact language Gaudpada has used. Karpanya dosh, small-minded, one-sided thinking, selfish thinking. Selfishness is not allowed in spiritual life. It is no truth at all unless you see all as Brahman. Yourself is all. There is a state higher even than that. That one should understand. Higher even than wanting to be in Samadhi for some time. Higher than that. After transcendence, you have to realize the immanence. So, all that exists are thou. That is what he said so clearly. Isn't it a translation of the second mantra of the Mandukya? Sarvam idam Brahma, Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. So, there was a song which Thakur had taught Narendranath, a Sufi song of Jafar, and that describes Beautifully, तुझसे हमने दिल को लगाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. Practical aspect. Whatever is there is you, so we have attached our mind to you. We are connected, we are united, we are identified our mind with you. एक तुझको अपना पाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. Only one we have found, our own, nobody in the world. And we also found that you are all. क्या मलायक, क्या इंसान, कमिंग, क्या हिंदू, क्या मुसलमान, जैसे चाहा तूने बनाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. So you have made an animal, a man, Hindu, Muslim, but whatever are there are you. And to you we have to attach our mind. So, काबा में क्या और देवल में क्या, तेरी परिस्थिति होगी सब जहां, तेरे आगे सिर सबने झुकाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. In Kaaba, in Muslim temples, in Devul, in Hindu temples, it is you who are worshipped everywhere. जो कुछ है सो, whatever is there you. सोचा, समझा, देखा भला, तू जैसा कोई न ढूंढ निकाला, अब ये समझ में जा पर के आया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. I thought, I analyzed, I found out that there is nobody like you. And now I understood that whatever is there is you, said Japar, the Sufi poet. This song Thakur taught Swamiji, and that he is referring now. All that exists are thou. Quotation mark, that means that song. It is you who sing that song. Thakur has taught him, but he says it has become your song. You sing that song. To make Narendra identified with the spirit of this song, that is Thakur's psychology. So he says it is your song. M. Yes, M knows this. Yes, he always says that after coming down from Samadhi, one sees that it is God himself who has become the universe, the living beings and all that exists. Specifying living beings because Chetan is observed there, but everything else also is Chetan. It is a form of Brahman only. The Ishwar Kotis alone can attain that state. What happens? The Jiva Kotis, after realizing Nirvikalpa, as Thakur told, they dissolve. But those who have power, those who are born to help others, those who are fully realized, Jivan-Muktas, Ishwar Kotis, they come back and they tell this. Now, another question is, if nobody would have come, if transcendent alone was real, nobody would have come back. And if nobody had come back, we would never have got Vedanta. Vedanta is the expression of man who has realized, and he describes both Nirguna and Saguna. Otherwise, we would never have understood Nirguna also. Who would have told us? So from all sides, we are getting the same truth, that he cannot, an ordinary man can at the most attain Samadhi, but he cannot come down from that state. This is another reason that Shankar has told this for ordinary man. Ordinary man cannot covet even to come down, but that is full truth, otherwise half truth. The person who taught Vedanta to Thakur, Totapuri, also he knew Sagun Brahman, but he never gave thought to that. World is unreal, world is unreal. And with Thakur's help, he had to realize. When colic pain increased, because he was a Punjabi living in Bengal. The moist climate and the food there went on troubling his stomach. And he wanted to go away. But because of Thakur's attraction, he lived there for 11 months. And then one day the colic pain became almost unbearable. So he thought, I know that I am not this body. Why should I not put this body down in the Ganges and be free? In the night, he went to the Ganges. He crossed whole Ganges and found no water enough to drown himself. And then he came back, and while coming back, it dawned upon him the mother's will. If mother does not want to die, you cannot die also. And not only that, he came almost crying. Water is mother, Ganges is mother, life is mother, death is mother, disease is mother, health is mother. And his disease went away. So that was all a play. And then he told Sri Ramakrishna, it was your play. Your mother held me here to complete my knowledge. Now please give me permission to go, because otherwise the body cannot sustain. I have to carry this message to other disciples of mine. That sentence may not be in the books, but that is the spirit. And then Thakur said, my mother says you can go now. Your knowledge is complete, you can go now. So see, from all sides, there are also some people misunderstand. Sardan Swamiji has said, Totapuri Jivan Mukta, then is his knowledge incomplete? And when he has realized world is false, he cannot be born again. And he is still living, so he is Jivan Mukta. But full truth, also he knew, but he had never given sufficient emphasis to that. And for this, he was there for 11 months. So, see all sides. And then Master Masha said, no, living with Thakur, Master Masha has understood all these things. The Ishwar Kotis alone can attain that state, that also understood now. An ordinary man can at the most attain Samadhi, but he cannot come down from that state. Narendra, the master said, settle your family affairs and then come to me. Now that was a Thakur's trick. How? You will attain a state higher than Samadhi. I went home this morning. My people scolded me saying, why do you wander about like a vagabond? Your law examination is near at hand and you are not paying any attention to your studies. You wander about aimlessly. Did your mother say something? Mother has her own affection. Master Masha knows it. So he specifically asked, did mother say something? Narendra, no. She was very eager to feed me. That is the only thing mother knows. See, the delicate relation with mother and child, and that is why Thakur has fixed Divine Mother as his mother. Thakur has asked us all to feel like a child to the mother. That will keep us on the right track. No, she was very eager to feed me. She gave me venison. Venison, Narendra's family, being non-Brahmin or otherwise, were meat eaters. Venison means deer's flesh, which is supposed to be one of the very sweet fleshes. And so, mother, she gave me venison. I ate a little, though I didn't feel like eating meat. So the mind has changed. He cannot eat meat also. Mother has given, he has eaten, but without taste. He does not want to eat. See, all these are spiritual transformations in man. One should not prescribe, you should eat this or you should not eat this. But automatically, the mind behaves like that. So much lesson we are getting in these few lines. M. And then Narendra. I went to my study at my grandmother's. You know that? In their house, many people lived. It was a crowded place. Opposite was his grandmother's house. There, in an outer room, Narendra used to stay, mainly for meditating and singing. His family people used to think that because there is a crowd in the house, he goes there. And that was to his advantage. So Narendra was so eager spiritually. I went to my study at my grandmother's. As I tried to read, I was seized with a great fear. That transformation. Thakur said, settle the matter and come to me. That's settled. I was seized with a great fear, as if studying were a terrible thing. Up till now I was studying, but now that eagerness for spiritual life. His family was in dire straits, no food to eat. So he thought he will become a lawyer, earn some money, and then leave the house. But that was not to be. That was not God's will. Narendra had to behave as Thakur's instrument, chief instrument of Thakur for the spread of his message. As if studying were a terrible thing, my heart struggled within me. I burst into tears. So that is what Thakur had seen already. I burst into tears. I never wept so bitterly in my life. That means he has wept before, but not so bitterly. I left my books and ran away. He himself is describing. I left my books and ran away. Away means away from house, towards Thakur. I ran along the streets. My shoes slipped from my feet. I did not know where. See, the madness of eagerness. His foot were left somewhere and he went without that, running. I didn't know where. I ran past a haystack and got hay all over me. That also he did not care. Hay is stacked for cows feeding. He ran near the haystack, all the hay was on his body. I kept on running along the road to Kashipur. So he came here to Kashipur. Narendra remained silent a few minutes and then resumed. Narendra. Since reading the Viveka Chudamani, I felt very much depressed. In it, Shankaracharya says that only through great tapasya and good fortune does one acquire these three things. It is good fortune or God's grace. No, not here. Oh. Original Sanskrit only is given. Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Sanshraya. Mahapurusha Sanshraya. So, only through great tapasya, where is tapasya here? So the translation has faulted here. Durlabham, now that line itself is not given by Swamiji himself. The full shloka is Durlabham Premeva Etat Devanugraha Hetukam. Deva Anugraha Hetukam. By God's grace only. These things are rarely available. Manushyatvam, birth as a man. Mumukshatvam, desire to realize, free, become free. Mahapurusha Sansharaya. And getting the ashraya of a great man. That Swamiji read. So, this translation we have to change. That only through great tapasya and good fortune, there is no tapasya and good fortune. Grace of God. Does one acquire these three things? A human birth, the desire for liberation, and refuge with a great soul. So that is correct. But the first line translation is wrong. I said to myself, I have surely gained all these three. As a result of great tapasya, here Swamiji says tapasya, that is all right. Not in that line. What is great tapasya? As a result of great tapasya, I have been born a human being. Through great tapasya, again, I have the desire for liberation. This is practical life. And through great tapasya, I have secured the companionship of such a great man. So, M feels that. Narendra, I have no more taste for the world. I do not relish the company of those who live in the world. Of course, with the exception of one or two devotees, like Master Moshe. And Girish Babu he was friend with. Narendra became silent again. A fire of intense renunciation was burning within him. His soul was restless for the vision of God. He resumed the conversation. So again, Narendra to him, you have found peace, but my soul is restless. You are blessed indeed. M did not reply because he had also not got fulfillment up to now, but sat in silence. He said to himself, Sri Ramakrishna said that one must pant and pine for God. Only then may I have the vision of him. So that is he found in Narendranath. Immediately after dusk, M went upstairs. He found Sri Ramakrishna asleep. So that is the conversation. Thakur in the afternoon itself had told Narendra had wept. Narendra cried all his way. And Narendra described it in full. It was about 9 o'clock in the evening. He ran. His chappals went away. He passed a haystack and whole grass was on him. And he came to Dakshineshwar, Kashipur. It was about 9 o'clock in the evening. Niranjan and Shashi were sitting near the master. He was awake. Every now and then he talked of Narendra, master. How wonderful Narendra's state of mind is. You see, this very Narendra did not believe in the forms of God. Now we are changed. And now you see how his soul is panting for God. You know that story of the man who asked his guru how God could be realized. He gives a beautiful analogy. The guru said to him, come with me. I shall show you how one can realize God. Saying this, he took the disciple to a lake and held his head under the water. After a short time, he released the disciple and asked him, how did you feel? I was dying for a breath of air, said the disciple. When the soul longs and yearns for God like that, then you will know that you do not have long to wait for his vision. The rosy color on the eastern horizon shows that the sun will soon rise. This is another important thing. When this Vyakulata comes, Thakur has equated this with Arunodaya. We see the red eastern sky becomes red. After 42 minutes, the sun we see. So Aruna is Surya's charioteer, and him we see. That is the Indian concept. So when the Vyakulata comes, it is this. So after that, what we have to do? Only maintain the Vyakulata, nothing more is to be done. Realization automatically is coming. That is what Thakur says. The rosy color on the eastern horizon shows that the sun will soon rise. This day, Sri Ramakrishna's illness was worse. In spite of much suffering, he said many things about Narendra, though mostly by means of signs. At night, Narendra left for Dakshineshwar. He had asked Master Thakur, I'll go there and do tapasya. It was very dark, being the night of the new moon. Chaturdashi was described as night, it has become Amavasya. He was accompanied by one or two devotees. The elder Gopal had said, I will go with him. One more might have gone. And spent the night at the Kashipur garden. He dreamed that he was seated in an assembly of sannyasis. Because of that, Narendra stopped. That was he had seen. That all Thakur's young disciples have taken sannyas, and he is within them. So we pass on to Tuesday, January 5, 1886. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on his bed and talking to him. No one else was in the room. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Master, if Shirod makes a pilgrimage to Ganga Sagar, then please buy a blanket for him. Shirod is a young disciple and he wants to go to Ganga Sagar. So he has no money. So Thakur tells Master Mahashaya to purchase. For any monetary need, Thakur is using Master Mahashaya like his son. Please buy a blanket for him. When is this? In winter, on Sankranti, there is that Mela at Ganga Sagar. Yes, sir. Sri Ramakrishna was silent a few minutes, then he continued, Master, well, can you tell me what is happening to these youngsters? Some are running off to Puri and some to Ganga Sagar. All have renounced their houses. Look at Narendra. He is filled with Narendra now. When a man is seized with the spirit of intense renunciation, he regards the world as a deep well and the relatives as venomous cobras. When Vairagya comes, it is like that. Yes, sir. Life in the world is full of suffering. Master, yes, it is the suffering of hell. And that from the very moment of birth. From the very moment of birth, it is hell. Jnanino nitya vairina, Gita says. It is enemy always of the jnani. The ajnani feels nice and afterwards suffers. Don't you see what a trouble one's wife and children are? Master Mahashaya knew that. And yes, sir, you yourself said these youngsters have no relationship whatever with the world. They owe nothing to the world, nor do they expect anything from it. It is a sense of obligation that entangles a man in the world. I am indebted to him and like that, there is obligation. And that makes him in the world. Master, don't you see how Narendra is? His attitude toward the world is this. Here, take what is thine. Oh, no, I have wrongly read. Don't you see how Niranjan is? That is Niranjan Maharaj's attitude. His attitude toward the world is this. Here, take what is thine and give me what is mine. That is all. He has no further relationship with the world. There is nothing to pull him from behind. From behind. It is described as longing, lingering look behind. You are going forward, but looking back. Attachment to the world. Woman and gold alone is the world. That is Thakur's patent. Desire for enjoyment and desire for means of enjoyment. That is woman and gold. Don't you see that if you have money, you want to lay it by? Thakur is especially showing the desire for money. That is a peculiar thing. Sadhaneshana, sadhaishana. You have desire for enjoyment. Money is only to use for enjoyment. But you become so mad after money, you do not enjoy, you just keep the money. So that is the separate thing mentioned in the Upanishad. M burst out laughing. Sri Ramakrishna also laughed. M. So M got the spirit of it. M, one thinks a great deal before taking the money out. Both laugh because they are now enjoying or happy with that thought. But once you say that Dakshineshwar, some exception. Once you say that Dakshineshwar, that it is quite different if one is able to live in the world free from three gunas. So you can live in the world but free from three gunas. Master, yes, like a child in the world. Yes, sir, but it is exceedingly difficult. It requires tremendous power. Like a child, it requires tremendous power. There is an explanation in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. As the knowledge comes, the first response is that all desires are gone, sadheshana, sadhaneshana, and one becomes a sannyasi begging food. When the knowledge comes still deeper, he gets balya bhav. And balya bhav there is interpreted as strength. And in another place in Brahma Sutras, balya bhav is explained as child's attitude. Now, child means not ignorant, but without ego. And now, you understand. One place, child, one place, power. So let us think about it. Thakur himself, throughout the life, he was like a child, and he had tremendous power over the world. See, Rakal Maharaj, always a child, but had the full power. So, ego is not the power. When there is no ego, you have more power. Sri Ramakrishna remained silent. Yesterday they went to Dakshineshwar to meditate. They, Narendra and some others. I had a dream. Master, what did you dream? I dreamt that Narendra and some others have become sannyasis. They were sitting around a lighted fire. Duni. So it did happen afterwards. But that Master Maharaj had seen. I too was there. They were smoking tobacco and blowing out puffs of smoke. That means fully free in the mind. I told them that I could smell hemp. You know hemp? Ganja. Now, many people these days, they are criticizing Ramakrishna Mission for smoking. But Swamiji has made a rule. Nothing other than tobacco should be smoked. Now, the old monks all smoke ganja. There is a couplet in Hindi. They chilam chameli फूंक दे बड़े सेठ की हवेली. That means if we smoke ganja, we don't care for the riches of the world. So that is why sadhus speak, to forget the world, not for the enjoyment of that ganja. So Master Master in his dream, he told them, I could smell him. They might not be taking him, but this is what he paid. Master, mental renunciation is the essential thing for Master Macha. That too makes one a sannyasi. So your sannyasi will be like that. Shri Krishna kept silent a few minutes and then went on, Master. But one must set fire to one's desire, whether a householder or sannyasi. Then alone can one succeed. You said to the Pandit of the Marwadis from Bada Bazar that you had the desire for bhakti. So Thakur had shown some exception that Master Maharaj remembers. Your desire for bhakti. Isn't the desire for bhakti to be counted as a desire? Very important thing. The word is desire. And so people get confused. They say, you also have desire for God. We are also desire. That desire is a name. That desire is to remove all other desires. So, name is same, but direction is totally opposite. Nobody should confuse like that. So, Master Maharaj asked the question. Master, no, just as Master Maharaj asked, isn't the desire of bhakti to be counted as a desire? To that reply is no, it should not be counted. Just as hinche greens are not to be counted as green. That is Thakur's example. If you eat too much shak, you will get acidity, colic pain. But hinche is also a shak, and hinche is a medicine for colic. So name both places green, but totally opposite. So Thakur is example for everything. Hinche restrains the secretion of bile. Pitta comes if you eat greens too much, pitta comes bile. But hinche checks bile, not acidity. It is called pittamla, katu amla. Well, all my joy, all my ecstasy, where are they now? Because of the sickness. Master knows. And perhaps you are now in the state of mind that the Gita describes as beyond the three gunas. So neither joy nor sorrow. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are performing their own functions, and you yourself are unattached even to Sattva, even to Sattva. Some people say Sattva, 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 but God is Tirgunati. One has to go beyond that. So all these conversations are full of all the points required in spiritual life. Master, yes, the Divine Mother has put me into the state of a child. Child is no goodness. Tell me, won't the baby body live through this illness? So that is the only point now. He wants Master Master to be tested. The master and M became silent. He did not reply. Narendra entered the room, so he had come back from Dakshineshwar. He was going home to settle his family affair. He settled and came back. Thakur wanted him to settle. That day he came running. But now with cool mind, he will go and settle the matter and come back. Since his father's death, Narendra had been in great distress about his mother and brothers. Now and then they had been threatened with starvation. Narendra was the family's only hope. They expected him to earn money and feed them. In spite of this, he left. So we think of our duty. But Narendra could not appear for his law examination. He was passing through a state of intense renunciation. He was going to Calcutta that day to make some provisions for the family. A friend had agreed to lend him 100 rupees. Most certainly, Master Masha. He used to help his mother without Naren's knowledge. That would take care of the family for 3 months. Narendra, I am going home to him. I shall visit Mahimacharan on the way. Will you come with me? Mahimacharan was a great scholar, and so Narendra wanted to talk with him. M did not want to go. Looking at M, Sri Ramakrishna asked Narendra, why? Why do you want him to go? Narendra, I am going that way as I shall stop at Mahima's place and have a chat with him. Sri Ramakrishna looked at Narendra intently. Narendra, a friend who comes here said he would lend me 100 rupees. Who comes here? That will take care of the family for 3 months. I am going home to make that arrangement. Sri Ramakrishna remained silent and looked at M. Understood? M to Narendra. No, you go ahead. I shall go later. That is what Thakur looked at him also. He did not want to go in Mahimacharya. He did not want to leave Thakur at that time. So you go, I will come later. So it ends our conversations of January 5. Now there will be March 11. So in the last days, Master Masha has taken notes, but he did not want to describe that because of cancer. So we see big jump, and that tomorrow being Wednesday, there will be no gospel class. We will continue on Thursday. I am making a small announcement. Tomorrow I will be going to Nagpur, but that will not stop our classes. So, day after tomorrow, we will have our gospel class. Wednesday we do not have because of the university class. Om Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavivireeditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhui Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.